February 2025, customer named Margaret, 71 years old, retired teacher, £47,000 in her current account. She received a call from her grandson Charlie. The voice was perfect, even had his slight lisp. Gran, please, I'm terrified. Car accident in Scotland. Police threatening to arrest me unless I pay £8,500 for damages right now. She transferred the money to a solicitor's account the caller provided. 3 hours later, she called her actual grandson to check he was okay. Like he was at work in London. No accident. No idea what she was talking about. I work in fraud prevention at a major UK bank. I was on the call when Margaret filed her fraud claim. Her words, "But it was Charlie. I know my grandson's voice. I'd know it anywhere. How could I not know?" Then she went silent. 30 seconds of just breathing. I could hear her on the line, not speaking. Finally, she said, "My husband died 2 years ago. Charlie calls me every Sunday. He's the only family I have nearby. When he called crying, scared, what grandmother wouldn't help?" Bank refunded £0. Reason, she authorized the payment. That silence haunts me. The moment she realized her own love for her grandson had been weaponized against her. Because 3 months later, my own mother received a call from me asking for £3,500. "Mum, I'm stuck at the airport in Dubai. My card's been declined. I need money for the hotel or they're calling police." If she'd fallen for it, she would have lost 8% of her life savings to a scammer using an AI clone of my voice. So before you build wealth through property, investing, or side income, you need to protect what you already have. Because I see people lose deposit-sized amounts, £10,000, £20,000, £50,000 in a single phone call, and the bank won't save you. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this scam works, why the bank refuses to refund you even when it's clearly fraud, and the specific 3-step verification protocol that stopped my mum from losing £3,500, the same protocol that could have saved Margaret's £8,500. Let me show you the technical reality of how scammers cloned Charlie's voice. Charlie is a fitness instructor, public Instagram account, 15 to 20 reels of him talking directly to camera. Keep your core tight, breathe through the movement, push through the burn. Perfect voice samples, clear audio, 30 plus seconds to work with. The scammers needed 3 to 10 seconds. They got way more than that. Tools they used, and here's what terrifies me, all free, available right now in 2026. 11 Labs, Play.ht, Descript, Overdub, various open source tools on GitHub. No technical skills required. Just upload the audio sample, type the script you want the voice to say, generate the audio file. Timeline from voice sample to perfect clone, 15 to 30 minutes. That's it. And to prove how good these tools are, I used them to clone my own voice for parts of this video. Right now, as you're listening to me, you can't tell if this is my real voice or AI. Can you? I've mixed real and AI throughout this video. Post your guess in the comments. Which sections do you think are AI versus real gray? Let's see if you can spot it. Quality level, indistinguishable from a real voice. Natural pauses, breathing sounds, emotional inflection. I listened to the recording of Margaret making the bank transfer. We record all calls when customers give payment instructions. And the voice was perfect. What made Margaret's call so convincing? Voice quality matched Charlie exactly. The slight lisp on certain words, the way he says "gran" with a soft R. Not robotic, not choppy, natural. Emotional delivery was flawless. Crying, voice breaking, panic. "Gran, please, I'm so scared. They're saying I'll be charged if I don't pay now." Background noise added realism. Traffic sounds, police radio chatter, likely added from stock audio libraries, but it sold the "I'm at a police station in Scotland" story. Personal details sealed the deal. Remember you said I should drive more carefully after I got that speeding ticket last year? The scammer knew about the speeding ticket. They'd done their homework, scraped Charlie's social media, found posts about the ticket, built a profile of his life, used that knowledge to make the story believable. Now here's what nobody talks about. Your voice is already out there. If you've posted any video where you speak, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube, LinkedIn video posts, Facebook. You've given scammers your voice sample. One 30-second TikTok of you talking about literally anything gives them everything they need to clone your voice and call your family pretending to be you. My own case, I run a YouTube channel. I have 15 videos of me talking about finance. Each video is 10 to 15 minutes long, clear audio, explaining concepts. That's hours of voice samples. A scammer could clone my voice in under 20 minutes using content I published myself. That's how my mum got the "Grey stuck in Dubai" call. They used my YouTube videos. The attack pattern works like this. Step 1. Scrape voice from social media. 3 to 10 seconds of clear audio needed. They usually get 30 plus seconds. Step 2. Clone voice using free AI tools. 15 to 30 minutes to perfect it. Step 3. Research the victim. Find family connections on social media. Check posts for personal details. Birthdays, locations, relationships, recent events. Step 4. Call with emergency story. Standard templates: bail money, hospital bills, car accident, legal trouble, stranded abroad, don't tell mum, she'll worry. Step 5. Spoof caller ID. Make it show the real person's phone number. Technology to do this has existed for years. Now combined with voice cloning, it's devastating. Step 6. Add urgency. Need money in 10 minutes or I'm arrested. Hospital won't treat me without payment. They're about to call police. Urgency bypasses critical thinking. Step 7. Victim transfers money, usually between £3,000 and £15,000, sometimes more. Step 8. Scammer disappears. Money goes to mule accounts, gets moved internationally, becomes untraceable. Timeline from scraping your voice on Instagram to stealing £8,500 from your grandmother. 1 day, maybe less if they're experienced. Charlie's Instagram was public. Margaret's contact details were on her Facebook profile. The scammer found both in under an hour, built the profile, made the call, got £8,500. And here's the statistic that should terrify you. Late 2025, I was seeing 2 to 3 AI voice scam cases monthly at my bank. Early 2026, I'm seeing 8 to 10 cases monthly across my fraud team. That's a 3 to 4 times increase in 4 months. And I want to know, are you seeing this too? Comment yes below if you've noticed a sudden spike in spam calls or weird voicemails on your phone lately. I want to see how widespread this is. This isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. Let me walk you through what happened when Margaret reported the fraud. She called our fraud line, got transferred to the fraud investigation team. That's my department. I handled her case personally. The process: she completed a fraud claim form, name, date, amount transferred, payee details, full story of what happened. Questions I asked her. These are standard questions we ask every victim. Did you authorize this payment? She said yes. That's the problem right there. What verification did you do before sending the money? She said the voice sounded like Charlie. The caller knew about the speeding ticket. It seemed urgent. Did you speak to anyone else before transferring? No. The caller said, don't tell anyone because mum will worry. Did you use the caller ID to verify the number? It showed as unknown. She thought that was because he was at a police station. Did you call him back on a known number to verify? No. He said he only had a few minutes before they processed the arrest. Every answer made my job harder. Because under current regulations, she failed every verification step. Investigation process. We reviewed the transaction history, checked if the payee account was flagged by other banks. It wasn't. It was brand new. Contacted the receiving bank to freeze the account. Too late. Money already moved. Checked for system errors on our end. None. The payment processed normally because from the bank's perspective, it was normal. Timeline. 15 working days for initial decision. Can extend to 30 days if needed. Margaret's decision took 12 days. Outcome declined. The conversation where I delivered that decision. I've done this 30 plus times and it never gets easier. Me. Margaret, I've reviewed your fraud claim in detail. Unfortunately, under authorized push payment scam regulations, because you authorized the payment and the security questions were answered correctly, we're unable to refund the £8,500. I'm very sorry. Her response, and I'll never forget this: so they can steal my grandson's voice, trick me into sending my savings, and no one helps me. Not the bank, not the police, not anyone. I explained, you can file a complaint with the Financial Ombudsman Service. They have the authority to overturn our decision if they believe we handled the claim unfairly. Her response, I'm 71 years old. I don't have time for complaints. That money was for my boiler replacement this winter. How I felt sitting there, like absolute shit. I know the rules. I enforce the rules. But telling a pensioner she lost £8,500 because she loved her grandson? That's not a job highlight. That's the part of fraud prevention that keeps me up at night. Let me explain the APP, Authorized Push Payment, rules in the UK, similar to Regulation E protections in the US. Simple explanation: if you authorize the payment, even if you were tricked, the bank isn't liable unless they failed to protect you. This is true in both UK and US banking regulations. The exact criteria for you authorized it. You logged into your own account using your correct password. Margaret did this. Check. You entered the payment details yourself. Margaret typed in the account number and sort code the caller gave her. Check. You confirmed the transfer. Margaret pressed confirm payment after reviewing the details. Check. You received scam warnings. Our banking system shows warnings before large transfers. Are you sure this is legitimate? Scammers often create urgency. Verify before sending. Margaret clicked, I understand. Proceed. Check. Even if it's AI voice impersonation? Yes, even then. The law says you should have verified the identity. You should have called back on a known number. You should have asked questions. You should not have trusted a single phone call, regardless of how convincing the voice sounded. Margaret's recourse options: action fraud report. Similar to filing with the FTC in the US, police rarely recover money. Financial Ombudsman complaint in the UK, or CFPB complaint in the US, rejected 3 months later. Civil claim: good luck finding them. The statistics across UK and US banks: 80% of claims rejected. 15% eventually get money back after months of appeals. Margaret wasn't one of them. Now let me give you my controversial take on this, and this is personal opinion, not bank policy. Should banks refund victims? Yes, at least 50%. Is you authorized it fair when it's AI voice impersonation? No. The legal framework was written before AI voice cloning was this good. A 71-year-old grandmother shouldn't be expected to defend against military-grade social engineering. The technology has outpaced the regulations. The policy change I want to see: mandatory 24-hour cool-off period for new payee payments over £5,000. That's about $6,200 in the US. You can't pay someone new immediately. You add them, wait 24 hours, then pay. Unless you confirm via secondary method, in-branch visit or video call with a bank representative. Shared liability model, 50-50 split. Bank covers 50%, customer covers 50%. Both parties have skin in the game. Banks invest in better controls. Customers practice better verification. Auto refund for vulnerable customers. Anyone over 70 or with registered vulnerabilities, cognitive impairment, visual impairment, documented mental health conditions gets automatic refund protection. They shouldn't bear full responsibility. Why don't banks implement these changes? Money. Every refund comes out of their fraud loss budget. Declining claims protects their bottom line. Industry-wide, banks avoid paying out £100 million plus annually in the UK, over $150 million in the US by declining APP scam claims. The dirty secret? Banks could implement better controls, mandatory delays, secondary verification, real-time video calls for large transfers. They choose not to because it would slow down transactions and customers would complain that banking is too difficult. So they optimize for speed and convenience, then blame customers when scammers exploit that speed. My honest assessment of responsibility split. The law says it's 100% customer responsibility. That's wrong. I say it's 60% scammers are too good, 40% people need better verification habits. Why 60% scammers? AI voices are perfect. Caller IDs are spoofed. They know your life from social media. They weaponize family loyalty. You can't beat that without training. Why 40% victims? One sentence stops 95% of scams. I'll call you back in 2 minutes. But people ignore that when panicked. Love overrides logic. Here's what frustrates me reviewing fraud claims. I see patterns. Victims often write in their fraud claim forms, "The voice sounded a bit robotic, but I thought maybe it was bad signal. He never calls me darling, but I thought he was stressed. The number was withheld, which is unusual, but it was an emergency." They noticed the warning signs. They ignored them anyway because fear and love override logic. And I understand that. When you think your grandson is about to be arrested, you don't think clearly, but that's exactly what scammers count on. The growth trajectory. UK annual losses are 300 to 400 million pounds. That's about $375 to $500 million. US losses are even higher, over $1 billion in reported cases. AI-enhanced voice scams specifically are £50 to £80 million in the UK right now, $100 to $150 million in the US, rapidly growing. By 2027 to 2028, likely to hit £200 million plus UK, $400 million plus US as AI tools become more accessible. Every TikTok influencer, every YouTuber, every LinkedIn poster with public videos is creating voice samples for scammers. The attack surface is expanding exponentially, and the banks aren't stopping it. The police aren't stopping it. The regulators are 5 years behind the technology, so the only person who can stop it is you. Quick note, if you're finding this valuable, hit subscribe. 99% of you aren't subscribed. If you want to protect your family from losing deposit-sized money to scammers, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Your likes and comments help us reach more people who need this warning. Takes 1 second. 3 months after Margaret lost £8,500, my mum received the call. May 2025. Unknown number. She answered. The voice. "Mum, it's Gray. I'm stuck at the airport in Dubai. My card's been declined. They're saying I need £3,500 for the hotel bill, or they're calling police. Please, I need your help." Voice sounded like me, panicked, urgent, desperate. What made her suspicious? I'd told her I was traveling to Amsterdam that week, not Dubai. She remembered the conversation. The voice used formal Urdu phrases. I always speak casual Urdu English mix with her. The formality was off. Said, "Please mum, I'm scared" in English. I never say please to her in English. I always say meherbani in Urdu. These tiny details saved £3,500. She hung up, called my mobile. I answered immediately. "Gray, some man just called pretending to be you. Very good voice. Should I call police?" If she'd fallen for it, £3,500 gone. 8% of her £45,000 savings. Now here's my biggest fear, and this keeps me awake at night. Dad gets a call from me with a medical emergency. "Dad, I'm in hospital. I've had an accident. I need £10,000 for emergency private treatment, or they'll discharge me and I might have permanent damage. Please, I'm scared. I need your help." Dad would send that £10,000 without hesitation. No verification. No calling me back. No questions asked. I know this because when I warned him about these scams, his exact response was, "If you call me needing help, I will help. I don't care if it's fake voice or real voice. Better I send money and find out it's fake than not help you when you need it." That philosophy, better safe than sorry, but applied in reverse, that's what scammers exploit. Unconditional family loyalty becomes a vulnerability. Now let me show you what my parents' generation did before AI, before smartphones, before any of this technology existed. My dad's rule, learned in Pakistan before immigrating to the UK. Money requests must be made in person or verified through another family member. Their verification method. If someone called asking for money, they'd send a family member to physically knock on the door and verify the person was actually in trouble. Can't fake an in-person visit. Can't clone a physical presence. His philosophy, translated from Urdu, phone is for talking, not for money. Money requires face. That wisdom still works in 2026. Technology changed. Human verification didn't. So here are the 3 non-negotiable rules to protect yourself and your family. Rule number 1, never send money based on a single phone call, no matter who the caller claims to be. Always verify through a secondary method. Call them back on a known number. Demand a video call to confirm identity. Visit in person if they claim to be local. Send a family member to check on them. Real emergencies can wait 15 minutes for verification. I don't care what the caller says about urgency. If it's really your son in hospital, he can wait 15 minutes for you to call him back on his mobile and confirm. If it's really your daughter arrested abroad, the police can wait while you verify through the embassy. Scammers create fake urgency specifically to bypass your critical thinking. Need money in 10 minutes or I'm arrested is a red flag, not a reason to hurry. Rule number 2, set up a family safe word or challenge question system now, before you need it. Not a single word. Words are too easy to forget or discover on social media. Use a challenge response question. My protocol with Dad: if he calls asking for money urgently, I ask, what's the name of the street where you had your first job in the UK? Answer, Hartley Road. Not something I've ever posted online. Not something a scammer could find by scraping social media. With Mum, my question is, what was the name of our neighbor in our first UK house? Answer, Mrs. Kowalski. Have I tested this system? Yes. I called Dad 6 months ago pretending to be in an emergency situation. Dad, car broke down. Need £500 for tow truck. Can you send it now? He panicked immediately. Started asking where I was, what happened, did I need him to come get me? Completely forgot to ask the verification question. I stopped him. Dad, what's the question you're supposed to ask me? He went, oh, right. The street? Wait, which question is it? Reality. My parents struggle with this protocol. They're not naturally suspicious of family asking for help. Cultural value from their generation. Family helps family. No questions asked. But that one test probably saved them from falling for a future scam. Now Dad has the question written down. He keeps it in his wallet. Rule number 3. If there's urgency, pressure, or secrecy, it's a scam. Full stop. Need money in the next 10 minutes or I'm arrested. Scam. Don't tell Mum, she'll worry. Scam. Delete this message after you send the money. Scam. They won't wait. You have to act now. Scam. These are textbook scam indicators. We publish them on our website. They're in our fraud prevention emails. They're on posters in branches. If you see any of these red flags, end the call and verify through a different method. Now, the best challenge question format to use in 2026. Ask for a visual detail from a shared memory that requires emotional context and specific scene setting. Why this works against AI. AI can replicate voice. AI can know facts scraped from social media. AI cannot invent specific unposted memories that only you and that person experienced. Examples. Describe the color of the tablecloth at our last Christmas dinner. What was I wearing when we last had lunch together? What did you eat the last time we met? What's the inside joke we have about Uncle Peter's hair? What AI can't replicate yet? Unposted memories, sensory details, smells, textures, colors from private moments, emotional nuance in storytelling, ability to have back and forth conversation that goes off script. My go-to question for anyone calling me in an emergency: tell me about the last conversation we had. What did we talk about? If they can't provide specific details beyond we talked about family or you asked how I was doing, it's not them. Real person. We talked about your property investments. You were worried about the tenant in the Lewisham flat because they asked about renewing the lease early. You weren't sure if you should lock them in or keep it flexible. Fake AI. We talked about your work and family. You know, normal stuff. The difference is obvious when you ask for specifics. Now, what to enable on your devices today? Phone settings. Enable silence unknown callers on iPhone or call screening on Android. Forces unknown numbers to leave voicemail. Real people leave messages. Scammers don't. Disable voice biometric banking if your bank offers it. Some banks use voice recognition for phone banking authentication. Disable it. Use PIN or password instead. Yes, it's less convenient. It's also more secure. Social media privacy. Make Instagram and TikTok accounts private. Prevent scammers scraping voice samples from your videos. Review every video where you're speaking. Untag yourself if you didn't post it. Delete or privatize old videos on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, anything public with clear audio of your voice. If you're a content creator like me, this is impossible. My YouTube channel has hours of my voice. I can't delete it without killing my channel. So instead, I've warned my family, set up verification protocols, and implemented the bank restrictions I'm about to describe. Bank app features set payment limits. Most banking apps let you set daily transfer limits. I reduced my parents' daily limit from £10,000 to £2,000. Caps the damage if they're compromised. Enable two-factor authentication for large payments. Some banks require this above £10,000. Turn it on if available. Register as a vulnerable customer if applicable. Banks provide extra protection for elderly customers, people with disabilities, cognitive impairments. If you or your parents qualify, register. It gives you better fraud protection and increases refund chances if something goes wrong. Protocol for elderly parents or grandparents. What I've implemented for my parents. Written instructions stuck on the fridge. If Gray calls asking for money, hang up and call his mobile. If police or hospital calls about Gray, call his mobile first. Never send money same day. Wait 24 hours and verify. Established challenge questions. We test them monthly. I'll randomly call and say, I need money for an emergency, to see if they remember to ask the question. Dad still forgets sometimes. Mum is better at it. Bank account restrictions. Daily transfer limit reduced to £2,000. New payees require in-branch visit. They can't add new payment recipients online or by phone. Any payment over £500 sends an email alert to me automatically. I'm registered as secondary contact on their accounts. The key strategy, make it hard for them to send large sums quickly, even if they want to. Build friction into the process. Yes, it's inconvenient. It also might save £10,000. Now let me connect this to wealth building, because this is supposed to be a channel about building wealth, not just protecting it. Margaret's £8,500 could have been deposit on a £42,500 property at 20% down. At current rental yields, that property generates roughly £350 monthly rent, £4,200 annually. Over 10 years, £42,000 rental income plus property appreciation. S&P 500 investment that historically doubles every 7 to 10 years. £8,500 becomes £17,000 by 2033. Emergency fund that prevents her from selling investments at a loss during a market crash. You could build a £200,000 property deposit through disciplined saving. You could grow a £100,000 investment portfolio through consistent contributions. You could generate £50,000 annual side income through business or property. And you could lose it all in one phone call to a scammer. Building wealth requires two skills: making money and not losing it to scammers. Most people focus entirely on making more money. They ignore the defense. Then they get wiped out. The wealth building framework is 3 steps. Defense first. Protect what you have. Scam awareness, proper insurance, emergency fund, verification protocols. Offense second. Build income streams, property investments, stock market, business ventures, side income. Compound third. Reinvest returns and scale. You can't get to step 2 if you don't have step 1 locked down. Defense before offense. Margaret never got her £8,500 back. The financial ombudsman rejected her appeal 3 months later. That money was for her boiler replacement. I don't know what she did for heating that winter. My mum hung up on the Dubai airport scammer. She verified before sending. She protected £3,500 because I'd warned her and she remembered the details. The difference between Margaret and my mum had been warned. She knew to verify. She knew the questions to ask. You know now too. So here's what you do this week. Set up the family safe word system. Call your parents tonight. Establish the challenge question. Write it down for them. Test it next month to make sure they remember. Make your social media private. Remove videos with your voice or make them private. Reduce your parents' daily transfer limits if you have access to their accounts. If you don't have access, Convince them to do it themselves, because the scammer isn't coming for you first. They're coming for the people you love. They're using your voice to do it. And when they call your mum or your dad or your grandparents asking for £5,000 or £10,000 or £15,000, the bank won't save them. The police won't save them. The regulators won't save them. You're the only defense they have. I'm Gray. Defense is step 1. Now let's go on offense. Click this video where I break down the exact 4-account system that builds wealth on any salary, the framework I use to turn income into assets. You've protected what you have. Now let's multiply it.